Are having a lot of crazy fun
I
times.
don't know, man. We are doing something here. Oh,
Fun, dance, 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 fun, blast, 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 blast. Kind of like that.
oh, you
Shake,
missed
shake,
two.
shake, shake, and shake, shake.
Sorry for the delay. Sorry for the delay. My wife decided to send me a video of a Critical Role fan made rap battle, and yeah, I don't know what I just watched. It was funny.
A rap battle of something.
It was something.
Rap
It
battle,
was definitely something.
It was bang, 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 bang.
Hey Mayflower, hey Marcus, how you guys doing? How you doing? Yeah, sorry I'm sure you missed Tuesday podcast too, Marcus. I mean, I understand.
It happens. It happens.
But yeah, it's Tuesday night. It's Scuba and Ry. We're here to do our talk about things, all the things.
Nerd, random things.
Yep, movie reviews and all those things.
All the shawala walla bing bang. Bong.
Alrighty, yeah. I've got a fruity beverage for tonight. Oh wow. Huh. I don't know why it's doing that. I'm guessing there is still something. The green screens. Anyways, isn't that kind of weird? I put it up there and it's like, ooh, trying to match that color.
you got a flavored drink.
Flavor drink.
People.
It disappeared.
Yeah,
anyway,
we live in a state of many flavors. So
yeah, my daughter came to me and says, "Hey, do you want a drink?" I'm like, "Okay, what'd you make?" She gives me her evil smile. I was like, "Oh God, what am I getting into?" All right,
evil smile. You never know what's gonna happen.
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's definitely not bad. But you know what? It is what it is. So yeah, out of that way, how you guys doing tonight? Thank you for tuning in to check us out, hang out with us on our Tuesday night as we ramble about all kinds of weird, rambling things. Rambling on.
Yeah, I do ramble, but I am consistent with the ramble.
That's good.
Yes.
Consistency is good. Anyway, so yeah, thank you out here, all the community for checking us out. And if you're checking us out on VOD later, and you enjoy what you listen to, please hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the little bell so you can be notified when more videos come out. And please share this out on your socials. Let people know about us. You know,
share, like, spread the word.
Yeah. I mean, we're here. We do this every Tuesday night here at 9 on this channel. On Saturdays, we got some D&D games going on. Got nice. Shadow Watch at 10/8. And Shadow Watch now has a new time.
It does. Wow.
It does. Speaking with the cat, we decided to shift it back due to some commitments, other commitments from some of our cast members. So now we're gonna go on. Shadow Watch will now air at 1 p.m. Eastern time here on this YouTube channel, and then after that, couple hour break, and then at 8 p.m. Eastern is going to be Challenge Accepted, which is another live D&D game where, you know, a party of adventurers continue doing whatever it is they want in the game world. We'll see what happens. Yeah, Skittles on the evil small never go. Yeah, tell me about it. And Sundays is Sunday with Scoob, where I do some painting. We hang out. That's still going to be going at noon Eastern time here on this YouTube channel, and some other contents in the works right now. It's going to get, when that stuff comes out, that'll come out. Those things. I don't know. I'm tired. It's been a long couple of days. So what we got on the docket for tonight? Well, we got a movie review for the new film Nobody. Some chit chat about some games and state of game. And this past weekend was GaryCon, and I had the wonderful privilege to participate in a few games. So I've got some game reports.
Report card from the dice game.
Yeah, it was loads of fun. Really enjoyed it. So all the fun things there. Shout out and a thank you to Sirenscape. Now that I've switched the music over, Sirenscape's your background music soundboards you can use for your tabletop experience. Go to sirenscape.com for more information. Obligatory plug for them because they do really cool things. And I put together a sound set that is just for Scuba and Ry. I try to do sound sets for all the shows, but check that out. What we were listening to prior was from Streambeats. Go to streambeats.com for more information about DRM-free music that you can use for YouTube videos, streams, and all the fun things.
Check them out, people. Check them out.
Alrighty. I think that covered all those things.
Covered everything from left to right.
Yeah. Please consider hitting liking and subscribe, all those fun things. Now we get in. Let's jump right into this with our what's up.
Yeah, what's up? What's been happening? What's been going around the bend?
Round the bend, round the mountain, all those things. For me, it was GaryCon this weekend. Game Thursday, two games Friday, 2 games Saturday, and then a game on Sunday.
Lots of games.
Yeah, the second game on Friday was kind of a last minute addition, but it was well worth it. And then it was starting to work on some home projects. On my personal Instagram, I shared a photo of actually getting into the shop, getting the shop squared away so I can start building stuff. So I'm going to be having stuff on the bench again now that we've shifted all of our shows over to YouTube. That kind of freed up my video editing. So now I can focus on shorter form video content that I can release on the channel. Or spin it up into another channel. See how it goes. All right, Marcus, you have a good night, man.
Good night, Marcus.
So, what about you, Ry? What have you been doing in the last week?
Last week or so, some interesting fun things, some new things, some old things. Work in school. Work is ramping up. School is ramping up. A few projects, but hey, it's a marathon in the last month of the semester. So get through these trainings, get through the last batch of school, and then a week off to just have pleasure somewhere and be an adventure, because hopefully by then, good weather, great places, find some food and wine. That's what I do when I'm off. But this past weekend was just chill, not too much going on. I did manage to finish up reading, because if you know, I was reading the Robin Williams biography, and I put it on the back seat for a while because of school. I don't like to read too many different things, because then my mind just kind of goes haywire with all the stuff I have to read for school. But I picked it up and read it when I had to get tires, and then I finished it up this weekend. So that was a very good read, a very interesting tale to hear the man behind the mask. A lot of ups and downs in Robin Williams' life, but it's definitely an enlightening experience to read everything. So going to go ahead and probably start another book of some kind. Don't know when. I have a few in mind. But other than that, just kind of chill. Checked out a few games. Watched a movie. Blazed through another Netflix series. That's about it. Oh yeah. Did catch up and do Taco Tuesday actually today at Farmhouse with my girlfriend. Whenever they do a taco night there or taco day, I want to go out there because they got great drinks with tacos. So why not?
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
Yeah. But that's me, chill. So around your way, other than GaryCon, anything else stream up?
Not really stream-wise or anything like that. A lot of it was the GaryCon stuff, so I had to rearrange a couple of my things. A couple of the games I did for GaryCon were really kind of cool because they were in association with Jasper's Game Day. I've talked about that before. Jasper's Game Day is a kind of a charity that specializes in raising awareness and support for suicide. So that was a lot of fun. It was nice to kind of get involved with that. Met some really awesome and amazing human beings. So hopefully looking forward to touching base with them in the future and all that. As a courtesy and a respect for that, I want to do a shout out for the Dungeon Run, which is a live D&D show that is, you can check them out on Twitch, the Dungeon Run. They got a YouTube channel, all that. They just launched a new website called thedungeonsociety.com. They're coming back tomorrow night, actually. Wednesday night, they'll be coming back and streaming and doing more of those shenanigans. If you probably check that out. No, I don't have a command in Stream Elements for that. I just literally came up with that right off the top of my head. I should have known better. I should have done better. I apologize to you right now, as I know you're giving me that look from behind the screen. You know who I'm talking about.
We see you.
Yeah, I'll just I'll just kind of break that fourth wall there and be like, all right, let's do.
Boom. in the face.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun doing that stuff. So see how all that kind of goes. But before we get into talking about all those various games I played and the cool people I met, let us talk about the latest movie review from Ry Reviews.
Yes,
right?
sir.
So let's get that review thing going.
Yeah, let's get it on and knock it out.
So
No
this
pun
week,
intended.
latest review on ryreviews.com, if you want to check those out, is the new film Nobody.
Nobody.
Yeah, so Nobody is yet another entry in the genre of the everyday guy getting put into a situation that is unexpected and in a lot of ways just really unrealistic.
Yeah.
And a series of events, choices are made, comedy of errors, and gunplay involve, and that just is shenanigans all up and down this genre. So Ry, take it away. Tell us about Nobody.
Nobody. And just to pick up where you left off, Scuba, it is a very familiar formula, but with different spins and different twists. So Nobody, when I look at this film to begin with, you get a bit of gravitas in the familiar. And what I mean by that, it is an action film, and it focuses on a specific character who has a set of specific skills, hence anything from John Wick, Taken, or The Equalizer. But
let's go older. Let's talk about Falling Down with Michael Douglas.
Oh, there you go. But it focuses on a man by the name of Hutch Mansell. He is a person trying to live a normal life. He has a family. He's married. Has 2 children, and he's just trying to go about his everyday life. But then a certain situation happens, and instinct kicks in, and now he's in a race to save his family's life, while trying to take out these shadowy elements by living out his glory days. If you've seen any of those movies, including the one all the way back from the day that Scuba mentioned, the formula is very derivative, very predictable, and very, in your face. You know what it is. You have this character who is living the average dad kind of life. And what happens is in this film, instead of just taking the cookie-cutter formula of just having a trigger and then him going and letting loose on people, what they do in the film is actually mold and ground you into his life, into his typical 9-to-5 routine. It's a very monotonous routine, but the grounding of the character allows you to feel for the situation and his angst. And what happens is that he's at a crossroads where he's trying to live this life, but he just can't. He feels trapped in this false persona of this average man, this typical 9-to-5 dad. And then certain situations start to happen, which starts to lead to crack in this persona. When everything boils up onto the surface, these series of events trigger that mystery of his past, what I call the mystery of the limelight, to come to the front, and then that's when all the action and craziness ensues. And it all starts with a specific night on a bus. From that point, the film falls into the very predictable but unique allure of saving the family trope. And then from that point, it just becomes a whirlwind of one-on-one combats, gunfight scenes, and all the shenanigans you would expect from the action film. But what makes this film rise above all those typical tropes, the cliches and stuff, is the fact that at the center is this everyday guy that grounds the dynamic of the action. It's not your typical action where the main character, it has no flaws. He's just a straight elite killer or anything. He has a past. He has worked for certain organizations, and he is somebody to fear. But when you see him in the gunfights, in hand-to-hand combat, and all the different situations, you get to see a man that is not completely up to par to the game. So when they're actually having the action and the fight scenes, you actually feel the grit, feel the blood, feel everything happening, and it's straight up violent. It's even more violent than some of those other films. But
More violent than John Wick.
yes, more violent, but it is from the same creators of John Wick. So there's a lot of elements from that film that you see in here. But it is it's a lot more gruesome and a lot more visceral, and it's because of that everyday guy dynamic that is brought to the Hutch Mansell character from Bob Odenkirk. If you know who that is, Better Call Saul is probably one of the currently most recognizable characters that he plays. But he brings this gravitas to a character that would just be a typical throwaway main character for an action film, where you could just enjoy it on an average level. But he raises the bar higher, and through his interaction with his family, with his children, with his co-workers, with his dad, who's played by Christopher Lloyd, it's been
a minute since we've seen him.
Oh yeah, and through all of that. Even with the predictability of the action, with him going against this criminal element, this city underground that's starting to come after him for certain reasons, it feels alive, it feels real. You're on your edge of your seat, not just because it is just another needle in a haystack of an action genre, but it is unique in the way they portray a guy with skills, but just an everyday man that you feel for him. Once it leads into the final act, it leads into the ultimate action set piece. It's like watching Home Alone filled with guns and crazy gadgets that just wreak havoc on people. And then it wraps up in a very familiar fashion, but it is one where you feel satisfied with what has happened.
So not really doing anything new with this film. It's another one in the genre, but they tweak it here and there. But it's, as you said, it's fairly predictable. Now,
yeah.
What did you call this one?
Overall, this stands out higher than some of those other films because of the unique spin of the main character, some of the tweaks to the premise, and the overall visceral action. It was worth going to the theaters to see this. 4 out of 5, full price.
All right, I have to go check this out. I was actually kind of curious for this one. I've heard some positive buzz for it.
It is. Like I said, it's predictable, but it's one of those ones where if you can cook the soup with a little bit of different ingredients, it can still be soup but be tasting very good. That's how I could use a good analogy.
So you went from comparing it to comparing to the final set piece, like a Home Alone with guns, to a cooking show and making a different version of soup.
Yes, that's how I do it.
Alrighty then.
I think you would enjoy it, Scuba. And anybody out there that likes action films, if you like John Wick and all that, this is your wheelhouse.
Okay, I will take your word for it.
Yeah, it is definitely fun, and that picture embodies that picture you put up for the review embodies how the film goes.
Oh yeah, it's just all in your face, all those things. So yeah, now in other entertainment stuff, second episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier dropped last week.
Boom.
That was interesting. I could definitely see we're gonna get further with that. But if you haven't checked it out yet, go to Disney Plus, check out Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And of course, tonight at midnight, hopefully, fingers crossed, we're gonna get Kong vs. Godzilla released on HBO Max. So that will be next week's review.
Yes, and before the show, I was talking to Scuba how it's going to be hard not to turn it on HBO Max because I plan to see it in IMAX on Friday. So
I'm gonna watch it, but if you need someone to hang out to watch it in IMAX on Friday too, I have a feeling this will be worth a second view. Just saying.
Seeing that fight on the big screen,
saying.
Why not? Why not?
Let's do it.
But I might not hold out. Who knows?
Who knows? All right, so and if you enjoyed the review and want to read some more reviews, go to ryreviews.com, all one word, and check out all the various reviews that Ry's done. Got over 6 years of reviews there to choose from.
Lots of different.
See his particular take on certain films and certain genres, and whatnot. So hey, check it out. And with that, we will get into State of Game.
State of Game, people. State of Game.
State of Games is the point where we're talking about the various games we are playing and what we are playing them on and all of those things our individual session reports for the games we're working on. Video game wise, I am still working on Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm supposed to be progressing the main story, but I'm having too much fun just wandering around hunting robots. So big deal. Nothing new there. Rye, what about you?
Video games. Well, following the line of the scuba elements, it took me some time and took me kind of persistence and being at the right place at the right time, but I managed to get a hold of an Xbox Series X finally. And it came in on Thursday, and I went and set it up, and the great dynamic that
I appreciate you came up for air and came over here to hang out with us tonight. I can imagine that was quite tempting to be sitting there playing on that Series X.
Oh yeah, it's tempting. You know, it's tempting. You look at it and it's like podcast, Xbox. I can skip a night. But but anyways, it's just my first impression of the system. It's very intuitive. I love the fact that, which Scuba told me earlier, you know, when he got his Series S, I literally, all I had to do is take my hard drive, plug it in, and all my games are ready to be played. All 100 plus games to be played. And the other fun dynamic is the games that have the upgrade to the Series X and S automatically start downloading. And that's another plus. And the other plus is the instant start of the games. You can go from game to game quick. No loading times, almost to none. So all the upgrades are definitely amazing. Then I got into actually playing the games. So the two games I started playing, or not starting, just keep playing, and the other one I did start. One Cyberpunk 2077 and Yakuza 6. Cyberpunk, I just wanted to see the difference, feel the difference of it versus playing on the Xbox One. And there is a lot of difference between the playing it on either systems. One, I get an eye opening to the experience of what people were talking about with the glitches on the Xbox One, and the smoothness between the both. The game is very smooth, very bright and vibrant, and just very much more enjoyable because I don't have to worry about certain glitches that happen in the game. But otherwise, it is very. The city is more dynamic and lively on the system because I can turn the graphics all the way up on the game. So I do appreciate that. It's just going through a really lively city like Night City with all the craziness that's in it, because I know you've played the game, so you know the craziness that ensues in that game. That's definitely dynamic. Yakuza 6 is another open world game. I just say, hey, it's there on Game Pass, let me download and start playing it, and that's definitely been fun. It's like a beat 'em up. It's in a section of the Japanese city. I can't remember off the top of my head, and it's very story driven. If you've ever played Yakuza games, they're very story driven, very focused on beat 'em ups, and it's definitely going to be a game I want to keep playing because I want to find out what happens with the story. Which the Xbox have seemed easier to get a hold of recently.
Yeah.
Yes. I would say, because I have been attempting to buy either system, and like I've been telling Scuba off the air, it's like I didn't even care which one I could get a hold of first. If I can get a hold of whichever one first, I did. But I was at the right place at the right time for that to get the Xbox. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, same thing for me with my Series S and PS5. I'll probably get later. I think I was talking with a friend of mine, and I'm probably gonna wait till the next Monster Hunter game drops or the next Horizon game to really kind of stress looking for it. But yeah. We'll see what the back half of the year has in store for us.
I'm glad I got a hold of, because I really wanted to get a hold of the Xbox first over the PlayStation because of all the purchases and things they have been doing, and the investment in Xbox Game Pass is definitely worth the investment in the newer systems on that side. But For the PS5, I think I'm gonna wait until Final Fantasy 16 when that drops to get that, because all the games I know that are supposed to be next gen on there are gonna have dual releases on PS4, so you might be able to play Horizon Forbidden West on the PS4. So
If that's the case, then I'm good.
yeah,
I mean,
because I heard
I'm not in any rush. I will get there. I mean, right now I'm debating whether or not to get a Nintendo Switch now that Monster Hunter Rise has dropped. And some of the stuff, it just looks amazing. A friend of mine, there's one tweet I saw where it's like, just happened to be wandering past, somebody would just happen to be wandering past and two monsters start fighting, and you hear faintly in the background, Turf War! And I'm like,
yeah.
wow. Because it's almost like, you almost think of like the Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
alrighty, let's do this.
Speaking of Switch, there was another game I actually picked up on the Switch.
Oh, really? Which one?
After long holding out on the game and just, trying to keep away from the cult of cultivating land and islands.
You went there, didn't you?
Yeah. I eventually broke down and bought Animal Crossing New Horizon on my Switch. And if you check my Instagram, you'll see that I bought it because I put a picture of it up there. And all I said was, yeah, I did a thing.
Yeah, you did a thing, and now you're in that game too.
Oh yeah, yes, I got sucked in the game because my amazing girlfriend Angelica loves that game. She plays it on her mother's Switch, and she was like, "Hey, you need to get it so I can play." I just kind of waited till I saw a price drop at Best Buy and purchased it. So that's what I did.
Nice.
I did play. I just set it up. It's very relaxing because you just kind of just chill in the game. Even though
some of those are really nice, especially when you got like the bigger titles that are real kind of adrenaline hopping.
Yeah.
Like Cyberpunk, or some of those other ones where you're pushing and pushing and pushing.
Yeah.
To come back in and do like a chill kind of wander type thing like that.
It's very good. It's a very good dichotomy between those games. Like if I want to go straight visceral and just go crazy, I play Cyberpunk, Assassin's Creed, now Yakuza on the Series X, and if I want to chill, just pop over and put the fishing rod in the water and Animal Crossing.
Yeah, especially when it's on the Switch, because now you're just kind of sitting there.
Yep. Even though you owe massive debt to a raccoon, and he has you hostage until you pay him, but it's still pleasant.
That sounds a little shady to me, but
I love the interesting dynamic when I was playing the game. I was like, they tried to make this island a paradise, but they have you hostage by debt. That is very interesting.
That's what everything. Just because you think it's a paradise, it's what's going on behind.
I mean, everybody's stuck on that island, including that raccoon. But I think it's a raccoon. I'm gonna say it's a raccoon. I don't care. But yep.
We'll see how it goes. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah, so, you and everyone else wants me to send my friend code, so I will definitely do that.
Let's do that over on the Discord, over in the Scuba and Ry channels. You can drop it in right there for Scuba and Ry.
I'll do it later. I'll do it later, Scott.
So yeah, do there if you. We do have a Discord. If you want to check out our Discord, it's where we can talk about all the various shows that we do and just some random conversations that come up. So hey. So yeah, let's talk GaryCon.
Talk about the GaryCon, Scuba. What's been happening?
All right, so you guys know I spend a lot of my time playing the Dungeon Master. I don't really play a lot of games. GaryCon, if you're unfamiliar, GaryCon is a convention celebrating the life of Gary Gygax, one of the creators of Dungeons and Dragons. It's quite interesting. It's a whole weekend of Dungeons and Dragons play, various streamed games, all that. Now, last year and this year, they did it virtual instead of at a physical location in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. So, signed up. It was my first con. I don't count Tidewater Comic Con as my first con because Tidewater Comic Con it's just a different style of venue. But this is like my first tabletop centric con, and I signed up for a couple. I had signed up, and the guy who was helping me do my check-in process was like, "You know how to sign up for games?" So not really, but and so he showed me, and I had one of the mid-tier badges, so I could get into some games that they just opened up for the tier 1 badges. And I was like, so hey, here's this game and here's this other game, go check this out. It's like, all right. So I signed up for a game with Skip Williams, who's another one of the creators of Dungeons & Dragons. And he was running a couple of 3rd edition games. The first one was Thursday morning, jumping right in with some 3rd edition D&D. The premise of the session is that you are a group of adventurers who are on retainer for this local lord. Their daughter is at an engagement party with a knight, and when the knight goes to give the young lady his engagement gift, somebody in the crowd speaks up and says that gem has been stolen from me. So now you're trying to investigate, okay, how did the gem get stolen, and validating the claim. In the meantime, for part of the adventure backstory is that your party has had some run-ins with a local vampire. So you're a little on edge to try and find this, because every time you corner her, you find some way to get out of your clutches. She's still at large somewhere. Prior to this, is 2 months prior to the engagement ceremony, the gem or the set of jewels and 2 people from this merchant's daughter, cousin, a ward basically, and one of their house servants had vanished and perceived they stole it and ran off. So for us, it was this. That's the hook. So we're trying to get through. We never actually get to the adventure per se. We kind of go off on a side tangent because, hey, what else are players going to do except go on a side tangent? We went on a side tangent and ended up going underground and finding this semi-sunken ship underground in an underground waterway, some were-rats, comedy ensues, and that's pretty much it. I mean, it's a fixed amount of time. Now, really cool people to hang out with. A couple over across the pond, a couple here in the States, and we were just sitting there kind of hanging out and playing this game. It's very relaxed, very chill, and it was a lot of older school stuff because it's like 3rd edition miniatures, drawing the map as we go, and it was really enjoyable to play a game. And then found out Skip had another game the following morning, and there was still some open seats. I had such a good time. I also had offered my Zoom account to help facilitate, because sometimes Zoom is a little easier for playing for video conferencing games. So I jumped in on that one. That one was a longer session. It was supposed to be a 6-hour session. We ended up breaking a little early, and but it was trying to run. It was the session on Thursday was 4th level characters. The session on Friday was 13th level character, and we're trying to find a Cloud Giant's residence, or a Storm Giant's residence, so we could infiltrate and stop her from influencing the local region. So each of us were, again, 3rd edition game, and this is the one where we had probably we had decided to do something as players that was totally unexpected. And we're waiting for this storm giant to come so we can ambush them. They don't come. But we find that there's another person, there's a storm giant around on a chariot with griffins. And he was in disguise for this enchantress. And he got lost. And we have to intercept him. So we got him to come down on the ground to talk, and then we decided, you know what, we're going to steal the chariot. and Skip is like,
is that a smart move? Oh,
clever use of spells and abilities, and we totally did it. We charmed the griffins, we stole the chariot, we flew to the Storm Giant's residence, used some disguise spells to infiltrate, and of course that's when the session ended, because a couple of the guys had to go. But it was
It sounds interesting and fun.
It was. I mean, the
Feel
fact that
mature.
he was just like, I just did not expect. You could have befriended the storm giant. He would have taken us. Yeah, well, we saw. He was on the ground. He was about 60 feet away from it. We just decided to steal it. So,
Just steal it.
picture a storm giant, which is this huge, massive creature, and a party of 6 adventurers, 2 of which are considered small, and 4 are medium sized, on a chariot that's designed for a giant. Yeah, totally works. Totally good to go.
I could just see. No, I'm not even gonna tell you what I see in my mind. But hey, you can fantasize too, people.
It was very, again, relaxing, kind of drawing the map as it goes. It's all good. Of course, then Friday night.
What happened Friday night?
Friday night, I was a part of a streamed game. It was the first streamed game where I was a full player the entire time, part of the cast. And this was run by Ron Ogden, who is a player on Dungeon Run. Is also an actor and does some other things. Fenway, name here. See, we have Fenway Jones, who is the founder of Jasper's Game Day. Morgan, Peter Brown, who is another cast member of Dungeon Run. And a couple of Renee and someone and another person. The 5 of us were sitting there playing this one shot that Ron had worked on. And so this is the one where last week on the podcast I had you guys help me decide the character.
Create that character.
I ended up creating a halfling barbarian.
Yes.
Order of the Ancients.
There you go.
Or ancestral protectors. And he was very cool and chill and whatnot. And then we go and play this game. And it was a lot. It's streamed. So in mods in the chat, I believe if you hit bang GaryCon 2021, it should give us a link to the VOD for that session so you can check it out. I was absolutely thrilled and privileged to play with such wonderful people. The session was interesting. We're part of an adventurers guild, and the local wizard had gone missing. So we were tasked to go and try and find him. Things start to get a little squirrely when we get to the border of the next province, and we get in and we end up getting involved in an ambush with orcs and goblins. Turns out the goblins weren't goblins. The goblins were gnomes who somehow were turned into goblins. And then we find the wizard, but apparently he shapeshifts into a completely new creature called a plain shark. Now, all through this area, there's this, imagine the big wheat field type deal.
Okay.
Far. So this plain shark swam through the wheat field like it would ocean. And when he first describes this thing, I'm picturing air jaws come launching out of there. So we all, chaos ensues. But it ends, and I'm not going to spoil the ending. You should go check out the VOD and take a look. It was an absolute riot. I can't wait to check it out again.
Well, having a shark going through the field, it does sound like there should be an epic conclusion.
Well, I got to do a really cool moment where it's I had my quarterstaff and I've got this long sword, and it's there's this little chunk of wall, and I'm running, sprinting, because barbarians gotta rage. That's what we do. And I'm so here's what I want to do. I want to plant my pole and pole vault over the stone wall and just kind of drive the sword into the back of the shark. And Ron was like, that sounds awesome. Roll this check, and then nailed it. And it's wow. But yeah, a lot of fun hanging out with them. I'm looking forward to some chances to check out some more stuff with them in the future. So, can't
Yeah, it sounds like a fun time. So, it does bring up the hope that, we can do real cons sooner than later in person. You did mention one too off the air, so hopefully, fingers
Yeah,
crossed.
PAX Unplugged.
Yeah.
PAX Unplugged still looks like it might be a physical convention. It's held in Philadelphia. The dates are up if you want to look up PAX Unplugged. I'm going to try and go see how that works out.
Philly is not that far away. So.
No, it's not. It's really not. And now that I get that command working again.
I have done the drive to Philly. It is not that far.
No, it's good. It's a good time. It's a really good time. Then Saturday was we had Shadow Watch, which was really kind of cool because it was the party was traveling down into this mind flare kind of basement cellar laboratory thing. So they as most of the episode was Obsidian sneaking through this area trying to find their target. And the way that episode ended, it's gonna be a bad time. And yes, if you watched it, you know the joke. But it was very much an espionage Mission Impossible type bit. Had to worry about where you're gonna get caught, where you're gonna get found, what's gonna go wrong, nail biting moments throughout. It was good. Yeah, Stream Elements needs to pick up the pace. That's okay.
It's all right. It works out in the end, hopefully.
Hopefully. Saturday night though was a game. It wasn't streamed, but it was another one. It was another one in association with Jasper's Game Day. The dungeon master for this one is Dr. B. Now he does a couple things with Idle Champions. Really funny dude. Really great guy. Therapist, actual psychologist. The module we were doing is a module that hasn't been released yet. It was a collaboration between Jasper's and the Institute of Suicidology. And we were to, kind of play through this, and it was fun. I cast on that again was great. Peter and Scott and Kira's player's name, but it was had a programmer from 343 Studios, had a NASA engineer, a psychologist, and a teacher from San Antonio, and then me.
Lots of different people in that room.
Oh, shenanigans ensued. What are we talking about? It was a blast. So the module is set in Icewind Dale during Rime of the Frostmaiden. Now, if you're not familiar with that particular module, the story is set up to where the rime has descended. It's basically been 2 years of perpetual night, perpetual winter. So any of us who understand this, anybody who's lived up north and seen some of that can kind of, but this is one of those. It's really kind of depressing and disorienting and just oppressive. Well, we were a party of delivery guys who moved into this small kind of township north of 10 towns. And we're delivering stuff. So we have to go. And now this episode really hits on a lot of different mental health things, mental health topics. And I found it was absolutely brilliant. I loved it. I felt I learned a lot as a dungeon master from Dr. B, and another style of play. Like, I'll tell you up front, we had no initiative roll. There was no combat encounter with initiative throughout the entire session. And I had an absolute blast.
Yeah.
But our first one is like various people who are suffering various types of some type of mental illness. I'm not going to go into all of it for each individual one, because there are certain elements that even after a couple of days, I don't want to do it a disservice by misidentifying it. But I will say that our first one was a lady who had nightmares, Turns out there was this group of charlatans had convinced the town that a mine in the center of the lake would yield precious stones.
Possible.
It didn't.
Okay.
It produced a stone, cadmium or something like that, that has actually got psychedelic properties and will mess you up. So our first visit is this lady who, you know, does this really awesome apple oatmeal. Everybody raves about it. But she's been having such bad nightmares and such bad sleep deprivation that everything has just gone completely abandoned and whatnot. So we had to sit here and try and kind of post some things and get some stuff going. And then it was, okay, move on to the next person. How can we help the next person? And move on to the next person. And how do we help them? And ultimately end up in the mine with a couple other people who were having some issues. And then it turns out the final boss battle was a stone growth, and we had to find a way to dismantle it. Let's just say that heat metal and a box of dynamite will solve a lot of your problems.
Hey, it does sound like, you know, an explosive display of, you know, triumph.
Triumph, yeah. It was. What I loved most about this one is and this was something I think is really interesting when you're talking game mastering and dungeon mastering and setting up different styles of game. The fact that we did a 4+ hour session, no combat, and you really didn't miss it. There was plenty of encounters, but not every encounter was a combat encounter. And working on and focusing on empathy and investigation and going through some of those motions to identify and try to help and cope and all of those things was really, really fun. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, well, Steve, what kind of character did you build for this?
I'm interested.
I built a character of a class and a race I have personally never played. I built a Furbog bard.
Hey, if it works, it works.
I love that dude. His name is Rathel. He's a School of the Swords. And he's very chill. I mean, the first thing is like this first house had like this garden. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, I got this racial ability. I could talk to plants.
You just walk in and be like, hey guys, what you doing?
Pretty much. It was like, it's like, you know what, I'm gonna use this ability. I'm gonna talk to these plants. And Dr. B was like, I'm like, all right, cool. We'll just role play through with that. It was great. I mean, I built this I'd never done a bard, and I actually did a bard.
Hey, first come, you know, always good.
I was inspired because when the game I played was Skip early in the day, I picked one of the bard characters from the list, and it was like, I've heard a lot of people talk about how utilitarian bards are, right? Bards can do so many things if you get them to the right point. Let me try this out. And then it was like, you know what? And then thing is I had no idea what this, all I knew going into the session Saturday night was it was going to be mental health themed. I didn't know the setting. And it was like, make a level 7 character. No idea beyond that. So I went, well, all right, let's try bard. I'm feeling a bard today. Let me do a bard. And it's like, you know, I haven't really done Furbog. Let me do Furbog. I still have my Lexton Artificer that I'm working on. I don't know where I'll drop him somewhere, but I do have that build in the works. But it was fun. It was just, I wasn't the only bard. We had a Goliath bard in the party. And then we had a Way of the Mercy monk, which for me it's like, yeah, this class is hilarious. And then we had a Circle of the Moon druid. But it was a lot of fun, a lot of things, and the thing is, Dr. B took some time, and we got to talk through some of the various bits. So I'm looking forward that module does get released to potentially work on trying to run it. I did get some good tips. Looking forward to touching base and chatting with all these guys again. They were really a lot of fun. Which brings us to our the last game I did for Gary Con. I did Sunday morning, and that was a non-D&D game entirely.
Okay.
All the other game, I had third edition and fifth edition. This one was a new system that's in development called Delve, Delve. It's it's got some inspirations and some influences from Pathfinder and some older stuff, older Greyhawk type stuff. So, and this one was this one was essentially Alice in Wonderland, but with a D&D kind of spin to it.
Hey, that'd be fun to play.
We got to play that with the game's creator. His name, Stephen Randy McFarlane. Really cool dude. And he was testing out a new platform called Vorpal Board.
Okay.
Now, we have the various virtual tabletops like Roll20 and Fantasy Grounds and a slew of other ones. Vorpal Board is a system where you use your phone to digitize your table so you can actually look like you're playing on a physical table.
Okay.
If your player interface, you can actually, and you have the board set up with the minis, you can actually scroll and zoom in and move your minis around physical terrain on the table, which is really cool. It's only been out for a year, so it's got some bugs. I mean, as a DM, it seems pretty stable from what he told us. As a player, I had to refresh that screen a few times, and finally, after about 45 minutes into the session, things finally stabilized. But overall, pretty interesting system. And then there was playing the game. Then there was Delve, which was, again, a lot of fun. It works on the principle. It's a D20-esque type system. You have several turns through. You essentially have three actions per turn. And with those three actions, you can choose to do any number of things. Hide, defend, you can move, but you only have those three actions. You only can move a few spaces per action. Really kind of nice. It took a minute to kind of get into it, but it didn't have a very steep learning curve. And there's a lot of other elements to that, but the game right now is still in development. Still doing a lot of playtest type stuff. There is a Patreon for that if you want to look up Patreon for Delve. He just released a new thing on Monday about flesh-eating gorillas. Yep, flesh-eating gorillas. It's a thing.
Okay, that's a thing.
But again, all these guys were really kind of chill. It was really cool to meet them and play with them. And it's nice how it's just you really want to find a way to make fast friends. Play a tabletop game. Because everybody can just get in and enjoy and chat. Turns out I was the new guy in this group. The rest of them all knew each other. One of them had just had a kid, hadn't seen in a couple of years. Another guy, opposite ends of the coast. Some shared history and stuff. But overall, really cool, very chill. Totally recommend it. Get into those kind of con things and do virtual games. They did games through Discord. They did games through Zoom. They did games through this Vorpal board. Any number of things. Plus, there was a lot of stream games. Like there was a new one from the there was a couple of games, plus there was the Cyberpunk Red game that Micah that was a Saturday night. I'm not gonna say much more about that. Go check that out on Cyberpunk Red for Team Monster, see how their latest adventure went. Lots of fun. I caught the tail end of it, so you know.
Cool beans. Lots of things going on at GaryCon. Definitely, it's cool getting all those different games. You know, interacting with different people, connecting, you know, learning new things. Definitely.
Oh yeah, the Delve system. I told Steven afterwards, like, dude, you ever want someone to help playtest? Let me know, because and he's gotten that a lot with Delve, because once you get past the initial read through of okay, this is what everything is, it gets interesting. It gets interesting to go through. We faced a bullet. We faced the Red Queen and her playing card type minions. And I mean, I nearly got killed twice in that session, but
Hey, you survived.
I survived. I made some made some very cool acquaintances. I hope we'll be friends later as things go. Really cool, great guys. Can't say enough about how much fun it was to participate in this, because it was the first time I'd been able to participate in a con like this, and I would totally recommend doing it. I believe they're planning. They last year they did something called Founders and Legends in summer. That comes up again. Cool. I think next year, hopefully, which will be a physical location, I'm hoping to actually run games myself. If anyone is interested when that time comes. And then still looking forward to doing more stuff with Jaspers and and hopefully some other things. And I'm gonna try and get some of them to come on and be guests here on our podcast, so we can talk about all the crazy shenanigans that ensue with those.
Yes, sir.
I think that would be a lot of fun.
Sounds like fun.
Oh wow! So yeah, I've been babbling on forever. Ry, take odds and ends. Start us off on odds and ends, man.
Odds and ends.
Oddies and endies. Don't have any pictures for him today.
No pictures. But yet, heading into one of the fun segments, odds and ends, where me and Scuba talk about the random articles that community finds, and we decide on which one to talk. And we have a plethora of fun, exciting, and some interesting ones to talk about.
Yes, keep in mind that if you're a member of our Discord, there's a channel called Odds and Ends, and you can vote by adding emojis to the various articles that are populate. The ones that had the most emojis will typically be the ones that we talk about. If there are no clear emoji winners, then Ryan, I'll pick based on what ones do have emoji. That being said, you know, story
number one. Have you ever taken a day off because a new game came out and you want to play Scuba? I know a few friends that have done that.
I can either confirm or deny the implications that you are implying.
But hey, there is a Japanese company that decided to take it a step further.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. So as reported on IGN, everybody's been excited for the new release of Monster Hunter Rise, which you are too. You're thinking about buying a Switch. It's a very popular game of Monster Hunter the series, and very popular in Japan. So, Mark on LTD decided, hey, they noticed a lot of their employees were taking off March 26th to play this game, so they decided to make it an official holiday and allow all the employees to take off on that day.
That's really cool.
Articles in the chat if you want to follow. So they basically decided that the give it a full holiday because they didn't think any employees will be able to concentrate on their work on that day. So instead of trying to lose money, just make an official holiday.
I can imagine that. As like, how many requests for the day off came in before they were like, there's something going on here. What if we save more? Oh, it would be better just to go this route, which I'm thinking they did.
Yeah, so it is interesting. It is very fun, and it's very cool that, you know, a company is not only, hey, let's have all the employees celebrate the day off, not just the probably a chunk of the whole company, but, you know, the few, and hey, save the company a little bit of money, I guess. So
I don't think really saving anything. I just think I think that's a sign of good company culture.
Yeah, it's good faith, and it's saying, hey, you invested all this time in us. Hey, you want to have this special day for you? Go ahead, kill some monsters.
Let's do that. Story number two.
But evening to.
Hey, D-Man Rhodes, how you doing, buddy?
How you doing? But story number two.
We talked about John Wick earlier.
Talked
about nobody.
But hey, there is another popular game that came out last year called Ghost of Tsushima. So hey, to build up on that popularity, Sony decided, hey, let's tap the director from the original John Wick, and hey, put him in charge of a movie version of Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, this has got a lot of support. I mean, the game publisher, 2K, was it Gearbox?
Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch.
Yep.
Sucker Punch is behind this as executive producer. Sony's throwing in some bit on this. And to have, I mean, John Wick did really well. It was really kind of in your face. And for some reason, this feels like a really smart decision.
Yes, I think this is a very smart and slick decision, because not only are you getting a director of a very highly popular, that started off a highly popular series and of action films, and you know the now trope of the average guy with skills. He is also known for work with Deadpool, The Hunger Games, Captain America: Civil War, and Matrix Reloaded as stunt coordinator, choreographer, and more. So combining that talent and skill into a game that is designed around action, bloodshed, and swordplay, especially Ghost of Tsushima, where you have variety of different swordplay that you have to use throughout the game, it's definitely going to be enticing on what they can come up with, and the deep story of the game will help it in the long run.
Alrighty, story number 3.
Story number 3. Speaking of games, Microsoft decided to do something nice for the community.
Way overdue, in my opinion.
Way overdue, but as reported on IGN, Microsoft is cutting the Xbox Live Gold requirement for not only party chat, but free-to-play multiplayer. What say you, Scuba?
I say this is a long time coming, but I mean, maybe it's because of the world we live in right now. Who knows? Forgive me, I'm tired. Gone yawn a lot. Anyways, but I think this is good because normally you had to have the gold thing in order to have your online multiplayer. I get that. But with Game Pass coming and all of these things, and the fact they actually specify free-to-play games. This is not every game.
It's not every game, it's just the free-to-play, but the free-to-play is where a lot of the big games are, with like Apex Legend and Destiny 2. It does definitely give kudos to those out there that do play those games. But it's not like they're going to take away too much from revenue, because as you mentioned, Game Pass is still there.
Yeah, Game Pass is it. Alrighty, story number 4.
Ever wonder what it would feel to be on top of a thunderstorm, Scuba?
No, can't say I thought about that. Not unless I was holding the magical hammer.
No, but anyways, since we're not waving around Mjolnir or calling on the god of thunder, it is said to be very, very cold at the top of some of these storms. Not only cold, but record-breaking cold.
Okay.
So, as reported in the BBC, scientists, quote, have published research showing that the top of one tropical storm cloud system from 2018 reached not really cold, but super cold, minus 111 Celsius. This is very likely a record low temperature.
This is just making me think about day after tomorrow now.
Oh, yeah. So, they said they captured it with satellite on December 29th in the Western Pacific. And what they say is that the reason that it reaches these top low temperatures is because of a mixture of the lower atmosphere, troposphere, that will normally flatten and spread out to form that classic anvil shape. So at the tippy top, it causes some kind of mixture of a dynamic where it's just that perfect storm, no pun intended, of a really bad combination of temperatures.
Very interesting. Got to get our science geek in. Now for the last story for tonight. Story number 5.
Story number 5.
Ryan, I think I definitely know you can appreciate this one. Hey, who doesn't love going to visit museums?
I love museums.
Who misses going to visit museums?
You have been with me on a few of them.
I have, but You know what? So you know a museum you know a museum that's going to be really hard for us to visit? That's going to be museums in Europe, like the Louvre, Paris.
Yes.
Until now.
Really? How can I get there if I can't get on a flight over there?
Apparently, the Louvre is one of several museums that has decided to put their collection online in a virtual tour format. So now you, despite the pandemic, can go and get your bit of culture in by visiting famous museums.
Oh yeah, so they put it in a Friday release and given an online platform for all art lovers and researchers alike to view the Louvre collection online for free, which is a great thing. A very amazing detail because they got a lot of different stuff from Islamic art, Renaissance sculptures, and Egyptian antiquities that you can see online.
Yeah, I told you sent that over. I showed my wife, and she went ballistic. So I had to be kind to her and put this story in there because she was just absolutely thrilled to see that.
You want to check it out? I put the exact link that should link you to the website. I don't know if you want to do it, but we could add a bonus article in there.
Oh, really? You talking about that new Microsoft mod?
Oh yes.
All right, let's talk about this.
Okay.
Let's here's how we're going to end for the night.
Okay. You want to? Oh yeah.
I'll set this up now.
Okay.
Obviously, unless you've been really not paying attention, because even I heard about this.
Yeah, this one was in the news.
You remember that container ship that got stuck in the Suez Canal?
Yes, like yesterday. Literally yesterday, I remember it getting unstuck.
Yes, they announced they got it unstuck, which is great. However, it will now live in infamy because the geniuses of genius programmers and quick-fingered mod creators have created a mod for Microsoft's Flight Simulator that actually shows a container ship stuck in the Suez Canal. And you can watch it as these little ships swim around that.
Yep. So, as reported in Eurogamer.net, they're made by, quote, Flyboy Res 1, one of the modders, fun modders out there, decided to create this mod called the Suez Traffic Jam Mod that does exactly what you think it does, Scoob, and everybody out there listening, which plops a big old boat in the middle of the canal. Not only does it put the boat in the canal, people, but traffic will also appear around the boat from both sides. And you'll find boats parked in the Suez Gulf waiting to get through this dang canal because it's blocked.
That is just too cool.
And topping on the cake, there'll be several tugboats trying to free the ship in vain to recreate the whole situation from the last week. So, there you go, people.
Gotta love the world we live in where you have an article that is so just... I gotta ask, who is the... What do you do? How do you call that in? Like, Captain, why are you behind schedule? I got stuck.
Not only did
you got stuck? Well, like, I'm in the Suez Canal and I got stuck.
But it brings up a very, very big question on how important, transportation is. Because
dude, that blockage, man, they were rerouting stuff. You had to go around the Horn of Africa. Yeah. I mean, it had a big effect.
It has a big effect, and I think it's ranging up in the like trillions of dollars in merchandise all across the board. Just the one canal being blocked for a week. So, hey, at least we get a mod. We can relive it over and over and over. Hopefully I can download Microsoft Simulator on the Series X and download that mod.
Check it out. And with that, ladies and germs, we are done for this week. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you to my moderators. Thank you to the community. Thank you to Ry for just spending another Tuesday night hanging out.
Thank you, guys.
As we talk about video games, movies, tabletop games, and random internet stories like people who create mods for video games to simulate real-life events. It's wonderful. It's wild. It's Scuba and Ry. Thank you, everybody. We will see you on our next stream, which hopefully you'll come and check us out Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern for Shadow Watch live D&D play. And Shout out to Sirenscape. I was on a roll and then I lost my train of thought to try and catch that train at the next stop. But yeah, thank you Sirenscape for the background music and soundboards. Thank you everyone for hanging out again. Can't do that enough. If you enjoyed this, please hit the like, the subscribe, hit the little bell notification so you can be notified when more videos come out from us. And we will see you on our next stream. Good night, everybody.
Peace. I had to share that article.
I know you did. It was great. It was absolutely great.
That is. I had to sneak that one in because that one is too fresh, too funny, too in your face. And we still did it within an hour.